Pardon my pandemic haircut. It's been a long time coming. We've been polishing these stanchions, getting them replaced, polishing the bases for months now, and it's been a sweaty ordeal, but my darling wife and I have just finished installation. Awesomeness. So the next thing is to run some Suncor Stainless lifelines through there, and then she'll look real pretty.
Well, no, I got to pick out the corn out of my teeth.
Anyway.
Sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and what a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Well, if you're following along, you know that we've done a lot of polishing over the last few months, and all that stainless is about ready to be installed. We're working on the stanchion bases today and the stanchions, many of which have been replaced or repaired, and they were all crooked and sort of loose, and so we've had some new ones remanufactured for us, copies of the ones that we had on board, and we repaired some of the other ones. In order to install them, we'll need two people, so I'm going to go ahead and get the bases just roughed in, and then later on this afternoon Debbie's going to come and join me, and she'll hold the screwdrivers in place so the screws don't turn, and we'll crank the nuts and washers and backing plates on. So a little bit of work. We did get the other side done yesterday, and so I've got a really great system going now, and by the end of the day today I hope we're ready for lifelines, which are waiting in the wings. Away we go.
All right.
Somebody has kindly drilled out and cored all of the holes for the base plates, and that means that there's no concern about water ingress into the core. They've filled them full of epoxy, these holes, and re-drilled them again. So I don't know if that was done at the factory or if the previous owner's done it, but I sure am grateful for it. We're going to be using butyl tape for sealant. Now, butyl tape has some really interesting properties, and the best of which is that it doesn't dry. So years from now I can pull that fitting off and you can almost reuse the sealant again. Now the butyl tape will hold this hardware in. You just put a little bit around the collar here. That'll sink into these holes that we've countersunk here, and those countersunk areas will carry extra sealant and keep this waterproof for years and years to come. The one thing you want to think about before you put stanchion bases on is how are you going to clean the woodwork or any of the fiberglass in behind the stanchion base. Once it's installed, you're not able to get any tools in behind there quite often. So I've already varnished the toe rail. I'm going to take this little scraper now and I'm going to clean off any foreign material that's behind where the stanchion base is going to be mounted. On this boat in particular, there's varnish on the decks, so that's from previous owners, so we got to clean that up now before we won't be able to get access to it. broken fasteners outside for the leg of the forward gate on the starboard side. A lot of information. Anyway, that was actually leaking when we bought the boat. Somebody had hit that particular gate and it was a little bit gnarly, and the foot that stabilizes the gate post was not fastened very well, and whenever it rained we got a little bit of a leak of water through there. So I think the combination of salt water and just probably getting bent from being hit has damaged those screws, and they've bonded themselves in there really well. So fortunately we have access in this boat to just about every spot, which is another consideration if you want an offshore boat. If something's going to leak or be broken, you want to be able to get access to it. So here's a cover panel, and it's held on with just regular slot screws, which I guess I have the wrong screwdriver, but it's held on with regular slot screws, and we'll pull that off and we'll have a look, see if we can't get that repaired. Oh, that should just pop right down. Look at that access. And those are the fittings we want to get at right there. Now I managed to get that fastener out. It had broken off at the top, but you see how bent it is? And that's from somebody hitting that stanchion. So I put two nuts together on the bottom of it and wound it down out of the deck. It worked really good. Look how rusty that is. This is where they have come from. And both of them had bonded through being rusty because those holes were leaking. So into the garbage with them, and let's move on. Pardon my pandemic haircut. It's been a long time coming. We've been polishing these stanchions, getting them replaced, polishing the bases for months now, and it's been a sweaty ordeal, but my darling wife and I have just finished installation. Awesomeness. So the next thing is to run some Suncor Stainless lifelines through there, and then she'll look real pretty. Good morning from the boatyard. Today's an exciting day. We've got all the stanchions installed, and finally, after a very long winter of polishing and prepping, we've come to the point in time where we're going to install our new lifelines. Now, Suncor has been very gracious in providing lifelines to this project, and they were a very early company to join us in it. We want to thank them right now, but especially we want to show you all how nice their products are. Suncor built a stainless lifeline kit that you can get with a coated wire or with uncoated wire, but it's something you can do at home with the simplest of tools. So a beautiful little setup, and great for the DIY sailor. We're going to show you today how to cut the wire and install it using the most rudimentary tools imaginable. You don't have to buy that $400 shear. Let's go. This wire with this big hammer and this cold chisel. A nice clean cut. think these Suncor Lifeline kits are a great option for the DIY sailor. We found they could be easily installed by one person in an afternoon, and they look great too. Be sure and check out the links to see these and other Suncor products in the description below. And why not join us next week when we tackle that stubborn windlass one more time. Okay, so now we wind off this cup, and again, being very careful not to lose the little ring, like that.
Talk to me.